Hello clever people, and welcome to my video on the 91st Annual Academy Awards. So about a month ago I did a video predicting what would be nominated, and after doing that I got a lot of views, and for the past 2 years I have made this video, so I thought of course I'm going to make this video again, and it is on who I believe will win. I also talk about who is nominated and who I think should be there and shouldn't be there, so it'll be kind of a long video, but I will go category by category. So as I am going through the nominees, I am going to list down what I think will win, what I think could win, what I think should win, and for some categories I will have an upset for what I think could upset and go against predictions and win. Also, just to get something out of the way, I have seen every single film nominated except for Border for Best Makeup and Hairstyling. That is the only one I haven't seen. I have seen all the shorts as well, except for 2 of the live action shorts, which I have not gone around to seeing, but I will watch them right afterwards. The only one I don't think I'll be able to get to is Border, but I have seen everything else. I will start with the big categories first because I know people are more interested in those, and I'll get into more technical ones later. And you can find a timestamp in the description below for where each category is talked about if you just want to go to a specific one. But anyways, I will start with Best Picture. So the nominees for Best Picture are Black Panther, BlacKkKlansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, The Favorite, Green Book, Roma, A Star is Born, and Vice. The only snub that I noticed here was If Beale Street Could Talk. I thought that would be nominated, and I thought that we would have 9 nominees this year, but we didn't. We had 8. Besides that, I predicted all 8 would be nominated. I saw all of them coming, and I think that the winner here is Roma. If you asked me a month ago, I would have said A Star is Born, hands down. I don't think that's even in the running anymore. Roma has won award after award after award, and it's really shaping up like it's going to win. I'd say that is the will win for this category. I think what could win is Green Book. I think that there's a chance that makes it in. I'd say 70 Roma, 30 Green Book, and if I were to have an upset, if I were to have something that comes out of the blue and wins that nobody saw coming, I would think Black Panther, just because of the current climate and a lot of people are pegging for it to win. I think Roma deserves it, and I think Roma will get it, so I am hoping for that, and that is what my prediction is for Best Picture. For Best Lead Actor, the nominees are Christian Bale from Vice, Bradley Cooper from A Star is Born, Willem Dafoe from At Eternity's Gate, Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody, and Viggo Mortensen from Green Book. The snub that I noticed right off the bat was Ethan Hawke, who gave the best male performance of last year, hands down. I'm very upset that he was not nominated. I honestly thought that he would be, and it seemed like he was getting nominated for a lot of other things, but he didn't. So, out of the people that we got, I think that the winner here will be Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody. I think that he's got a really good shot. A while ago, I would have said Christian Bale, and even before that, I would have said Bradley Cooper, but I think Rami Malek has won enough. I still think that it's pretty close with Christian Bale, but as of right now, I'd say that Rami Malek will win with about a 65% chance, I'd say, of winning, and I would say that Christian Bale is probably at 35%. If I were to predict an upset, I would say Bradley Cooper from A Star is Born. I think that he could sneak back in there, but I think it'll be Rami Malek, and out of these nominees, I think Rami Malek gave the best performance, but still, I think that if Ethan Hawke was in here, I would absolutely hands down give it to him. I don't know why it was that the guy, Willem Dafoe was nominated for At Eternity's Gate. I didn't think that he gave an Oscar-winning performance, honestly, but he got nominated. The next category is Best Lead Actress, and the nominees are Yalitza Aparicio for Roma, Glenn Close for The Wife, Olivia Colman for The Favorite, Lady Gaga for A Star is Born, and Melissa McCarthy for Can You Ever Forgive Me. I was surprised to see Yalitza Aparicio. I thought that it would be Emily Blunt. I thought that she would get the other position for Mary Poppins Returns, but I am glad she did not because I think Yalitza should win. However, I don't think she has a chance. I think that the clear winner here is Glenn Close for The Wife. She, I think, has like a 95% chance of getting this. And I think that it's kind of a legacy award because she's never won an award before, but she's such a good actress. She's been in so many things. So I think that this will be her award to win. If I would think that something could win, I would say maybe Lady Gaga from A Star is Born, but I would say it's 95 Glenn Close, 5 for Lady Gaga. I think that Glenn Close has basically gotten this in the bag. Alright, the next category is Best Supporting Actor, and the nominees are Mahershala Ali from Green Book, Adam Driver from BlacKkKlansman, Sam Elliott from A Star is Born, Richard E. Grant from Can You Ever Forgive Me, and Sam Rockwell from Vice. The big snub here was Sam Rockwell getting in over Timothée Chalamet. I thought Timothée Chalamet gave I think probably the best supporting actor performance of the year. I wish that he was nominated. He should win, but he's not even there. So I think that the winner here is very obvious. I think that it is clear who is going to win, and that is Mahershala Ali for Green Book. I give it 99% to him. I think who could win, maybe out of a big outside shot, would be Richard E. Grant for Can You Ever Forgive Me. I'd probably put him at like 1%. I thought Richard E. Grant was great in Can You Ever Forgive Me. He gave a great performance, but Mahershala has won everything else. He did a pretty good job, and I think he'll get it. Honestly, though, I do think Richard E. Grant should win this. I thought that he gave the better performance than Mahershala. I thought Mahershala gave a great one. I just thought that Richard E. Grant gave a very memorable performance, and Richard E. Grant, his performance could have slipped into being one note and the same the whole time, but it wasn't, and I was very happy for that, but he's not winning. It's Mahershala. Alright, next category is Best Supporting Actress, and the nominees are Amy Adams for Vice, Marina de Tavira for Roma, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, Emma Stone for The Favorite, and Rachel Weisz for The Favorite. I think the winner here is also obvious. Maybe not as obvious as Best Supporting Actor, but I think it is very obvious here. It will be Regina King. I think that she will win. She gave a very captivating performance in If Beale Street Could Talk. I'd say that she's probably got like an 80% or probably 90% chance, honestly. And who could win out of all these? I think maybe you could have Amy Adams getting in there, but I don't think she has much of a shot. I think maybe 10%. I think it will definitely be going to Regina King. I was surprised to see Marina de Tavira in here over Claire Foy for The First Man. I was surprised to see that, but I'm glad that she got in. I don't even think that she should win, though, even though basically almost every other category I say Roma should win. This one I don't think. I think Emma Stone should win. I thought that she gave a captivating performance in The Favorite, and I have been saying that she should win for the longest time, but she's never been in the running. Rachel Weisz is probably more likely to win than her, so right now I will say Emma Stone should win. Amy Adams could win, but Regina King will win. Next up is Best Director, and the nominees are Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman, Paweł Pawlowski for Cold War, Yorgos Lanthimos for The Favorite, Alfonso Cuarón for Roma, and Adam McKay for Vice. So the big snub here that I didn't see coming was Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born not getting nominated, and in his place was Paweł Pawlowski for Cold War. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, but I was shocked to see that. I do think that Paweł probably deserved it more because I didn't think Cold War... I mean, I like Cold War a lot, but his direction is what stood out. His direction and cinematography are what made that movie as good as it was. Everything else was kind of a lot lesser. But Best Director here, I think it's clear who's going to get it. I'd say 95% it's going to be Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. He has won everything else, and I mean like everything. He has gotten so many awards, award after award. I think that he will win. I think that he should win. His direction in that film was amazing. Who I think could sneak in there, possibly Spike Lee for BlacKkKlansman, just because he's never gotten an Academy Award for direction, but I think another film will get him that award. I'd give him 5%, but I am sure it will be Alfonso Cuarón. Alright, next up we have Best Animated Feature, and the nominees are Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. What I think will win here and what I think should win here is obvious. It's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'd say that this is the second most confident vote from me. First, you'll see a little bit later. I'll point it out when it's there, but literally Spider-Verse, I can't think of a single award that it hasn't won. I honestly cannot. I think that Isle of Dogs may have won some other award, maybe the BAFTA, or I'm not quite sure, but literally everything else has gone to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Deservedly so. I think it's a really good movie. It's overhyped in my opinion, but everybody loves it. Everybody says it's one of the best movies of the year. I think that it will win. I give it 99% chance. I think there's a 1% chance that Incredibles 2 could win, might sneak in there and upset, but I don't think so. I think it is certainly going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Alright, next up we have Adapted Screenplay, and the nominees are The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, BlacKkKlansman, Can You Ever Forgive Me, If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born. This has been one of the most interesting categories to watch because the winners have shifted around a lot. I think as of right now, probably an 80% chance or so, maybe 75, I give it to BlacKkKlansman. I think that Spike Lee has never gotten an Oscar before, and this is the Oscar that they'll want to give him, not direction, but for writing. And I think it's a well-done screenplay. It balances seriousness and it balances comedy very, very well. I think that it probably will win. I don't think it should win, though. What should win and what could win, but I at this point I'm not sure, is If Beale Street Could Talk. That was a masterful film, masterfully written screenplay. I was really happy to see that it got nominated, and I was thinking for a while that it should win, but at this point I don't think so. If there could be an upset, I'd say that it would be Can You Ever Forgive Me, because that won the Writers Guild America Awards, which was a shock. I still don't think that that means that it'll win, but still, that is pretty significant. I was also surprised to see Ballad of Buster Scruggs get in here. I can't remember what other adapted screenplay I thought would get in here, but I was just surprised to see Ballad. I didn't think that Ballad of Buster Scruggs would get any nominations, but adapted screenplay, sure, for the first 4 categories, but for the first 4 stories in that. For the last 2, I don't think so. Alright, next up we have Best Original Screenplay, and the nominees are The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, Roma, and Vice. I think the snub here that kind of made me upset was 8th Grade. I thought that screenplay was masterful. It even won the Writers Guild of America Award. And what got in instead of it, in my opinion, what was the weakest out of all of the scripts was Vice. I think that movie has absolutely no reason to be in there. I thought that the script, it didn't stand out at all, and I thought 8th Grades definitely did. In terms of what I think will win, it's a close category, probably one of the closer ones. I'd say about 60%, I think that it's going to be The Favorite. I think that The Favorite probably has a really good shot. The other 40%, what I think could win, is Green Book. I think that movie has a good shot. What I think should win out of here is First Reformed. Hands down, one of the best screenplays I have ever seen. Incredible writing, and I wish that it got nominated for more. Honestly, it should have been nominated for director, picture, lead actor, so much more, but it didn't, and I wasn't expecting it to because it came out very early in the year, but still, if it could win original screenplay, I would be so happy, but it won't. There's not really a chance, so I'm going to say The Favorite probably will win. Alright, next up is Best Cinematography, and the nominations are Cold War, The Favorite, Never Look Away, Roma, and A Star Is Born. The big snubs in here, I was surprised that Never Look Away got in. I had never even heard of Never Look Away getting nominated. Nobody had said it. I think that the big snub here was First Man. I think a lot of people thought First Man was going to get in here and had a pretty solid shot to win, but it didn't. In terms of personal opinion, I think both If Beale Street Could Talk and Caper Nom should have gotten in here. Both of those films had incredible cinematography that's being so overlooked. But in terms of what we have, I think it's pretty obvious what's going to win here. 95% Roma. That has won so many cinematography awards. I think that it has a really good shot too, and I think it deserves it. I think what could win maybe is Cold War, like a 5%, but no, I think it's Roma's award to lose. Alright, next category is Best Documentary Feature, and the nominees are Free Solo, Hale County, This Morning, This Evening, Minding the Gap, Of Fathers and Son, and RBG. The biggest snub, and I will say it outright, the biggest snub of the entire ceremony was Won't You Be My Neighbor. The fact that this wasn't even nominated when it was the front runner to win, literally, almost everybody was saying that this would win before the nominations came out. It wasn't even nominated. I don't know how. That boggles my mind. And also, Three Identical Strangers not getting in here, I thought that was weird. And the 2 documentaries that replaced it were Hale County, This Morning, This Evening, and Of Fathers and Sons. Both of those documentaries, I don't get it. I thought that Hale County was okay. I thought Of Fathers and Sons was like good, but not better than Won't You Be My Neighbor and Three Identical Strangers. I thought it was ridiculous that those 2 weren't nominated and that the other 2 were. But putting all that aside, what I think will win here, I'd say about 65% chance, is Free Solo. That has won a lot of awards. I think it deserves it. What I think could win is RBG, but RBG I just thought was okay. I don't think that it deserves to be nominated. I mean, to win. I really hope it doesn't. It was a good documentary, and I think it could win just because of the climate right now, but I don't think it will. What I think should win, though, is Minding the Gap. ever since I posted my top 20 of the year, and I put it at number 8, it's climbed since then. I think it's 5 right now. I love Minding the Gap so much. Such a well put together documentary about childhood, about abuse, and about mental illness. I wish that was winning. I wish so badly because it deserves it, but it won't. I believe that it will be Free Solo. All right, next up we have Best Foreign Language Film, and the nominees are Capernaum, Cold War, Never Look Away, Roma, and Shoplifters. Another surprise came from Never Look Away. I didn't think that would get in here. I thought that Burning would get in rather than Never Look Away, but Burning was snubbed for this. I think that the one nominee that I haven't seen other than Border was Never Look Away. I have not seen that one yet. I keep on forgetting about that one. That was nominated for cinematography and for foreign language film. I don't think that one will win. I think it's clear what's going to win here, and that's Roma. And I think that there is a chance that people that voted for Roma for Best Picture will vote for foreign language film, something else instead, which scares me and makes me think maybe Cold War could win, but I'd say 90% Roma will win, 10% goes to Cold War. Roma deserves to win too. It is by far the best foreign language film. It is so much so. Although a film that I saw that surprised me was Capernaum. That movie was incredible. It's my number 6 of the year right now, and I wish I would have seen it before my top 10 list so that I could tell people to go see it. People should. It is such a well done movie, but it's not winning. I don't even think it should win. Roma will, and it should. All right, next up is Best Film Editing, and the nominees are Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, Green Book, The Favorite, and Vice. The big snub here that came out right out of the gate was Roma. I thought for sure it would be nominated for Best Editing, and I thought it had a pretty good shot to win, but it wasn't. So now we're left with these movies. Now, I am shocked and honestly appalled by the fact that Bohemian Rhapsody was nominated for Best Editing. That movie had some of the worst editing I have seen in a movie in the last 5 years. Like, wow, that was the editing in that film is terrible. It's why the movie was bad to me, because it was way too fast. It went through everything way too quickly, didn't take its time. They went from this tiny little band into a mega huge superstars in 10 minutes, and it was really annoying, and I don't know how it was nominated. And the other film that I think will win, that I don't think it should have been nominated either, that was Vice. That movie was built on its editing, and I don't think that the editing was very good, but I understand that more. I understand why it was nominated. I think that's probably got about a 70% chance to win. What I think could win here is Green Book. I could see them, because Green Book not winning Best Picture, I could see them wanting to give it to film editing instead, so that Green Book can go home with some award other than Best Supporting Actor. So I could see that winning. I'd probably say that that's about 30%. The upset here could be Bohemian Rhapsody, because a lot of people are talking about that winning. It better not. If it does, I'm going to be very upset, because that editing was horrible. What I think should win here is The Favorite, because out of all these movies, The Favorite probably had the best editing, but seriously, Roma not getting nominated, that was crazy, and I think that Roma probably had the best editing of the year, but oh well. The next category is Best Visual Effects, and the nominees are Avengers Infinity War, Christopher Robin, First Man, Ready Player One, and Solo: A Star Wars Story. The big snub here was Black Panther, because Black Panther, it wasn't even nominated, but people before nominations came out were saying that it was probably going to win. And I was part of those people. I thought it was going to, even though I thought that the visual effects in Black Panther were pretty bad, but still, a lot of people said it wasn't. I think that the other Marvel movie will win because of that, which it should. Infinity War, best visual effects I've seen all year. It should win. I'd say it's got probably a 70% chance. What I'm worried about is First Man, because oftentimes the Academy will give the visual effects category to a film that is smaller but use visual effects subtly, and it works so well. Like Ex Machina is a perfect example. So I'm worried that they might do that. Also, First Man isn't really going to win anything else, in my opinion. So I think that it will probably, there's a chance that it could go away with this, but I do still think it will be Avengers Infinity War. All right, next up is Best Costume Design, and the nominees are Ballad of Buster Scruggs, Black Panther, The Favorite, Mary Queen of Scots, and Mary Poppins Returns. So this was an interesting category to me in terms of who's gonna win, because I'm conflicted between two movies right now, and that's The Favorite and Black Panther. I think that they're butting heads right now. I think It could easily go to either one. I'm not really sure. I'd say it's about 50-50 for them. If I were to give the slight edge to something, probably The Favorite. I think that The Favorite will probably get it because the Academy loves to give the best costume design to old movies, to movies that take place in the 1800s, and movies especially in England where they had very fancy costumes, but also the costumes reflected a lot about character, and I thought that was really well done. I hope it wins, but I could see Black Panther winning. It did have some very good costumes, but I think The Favorite, I don't know, I think it should, and I think that it has the better chance in the end, but they're still very, very close. Next up is Best Makeup and Hairstyling, and the nominees are Border, Mary Queen of Scots, and Vice. This is another category that I think it's very obvious who's going to win here. It's Vice. Vice is absolutely going to win. The Academy loves giving out awards to movies that use prosthetics, and it makes the person look completely different. And that's what they did with Vice. That's what they did with Christian Bale. He looked completely different. I'm sure it's going to win. It's won everything else. In terms of snubs, I honestly thought that Stan and Ollie was kind of snubbed here. I don't like the movie, but the makeup that they did for, I forget the actor's name right now, John C. Reilly. The makeup that they did for him was incredible, especially on his face. I thought that it looked amazing, and all the other makeup looked good too, but I think it wasn't nominated, so I think that Vice will win, and I think it should win. Probably 99% Vice. I'd say maybe 1% Mary Queen of Scots, but I seriously doubt it. Alright, next up is Best Original Score, and the nominees are BlacKkKlansman, Black Panther, If Beale Street Could Talk, Isle of Dogs, and Mary Poppins Returns. So I listened to all these scores individually to try to hear them in context of the movie and outside of it to see which one I thought was best. Honestly, I think that Black Panther has the best score here. And that's weird for me to say because for a while it was Beale Street, but listening to the Black Panther soundtrack, I mean, the score, it's incredible. It is really, really well done. It's a perfect blend of superhero movie and the type of African percussion that they have, the type of culture, and they mix the two together really, really well, and it accumulated into a great score that's very fun to listen to, very memorable, and honestly, there's a couple songs in the If Beale Street Could Talk score that I can think of right now, but there's a ton of music from Black Panther that I can think of, and immediately I think of the movie. I think that should win, and I don't think it's a front runner though. I think it could win, and I think it's got probably about a 30% chance, but 70% the award will go to If Beale Street Could Talk. It's the same thing with Green Book and editing. Remember how I said with Green Book, I think Best Supporting Actor. Other than that, it's really got not a shot at anything else, so I think that it could go to film editing because that's something they can give the people who worked on the movie. Same thing with If Beale Street Could Talk. I think they could give it to original score because outside of supporting actress, I don't think it has much of a shot at anything. Maybe screenplay, but I seriously think it'll be BlacKkKlansman. So at this point, I think it will be If Beale Street Could Talk, even though I think Black Panther deserves to win. Next up is Best Original Song, and the nominees are All the Stars from Black Panther, All Fight from RBG, The Place Where Lost Things Go from Mary Poppins Returns, Shallow from A Star Is Born, and When a Cowboy Trades His Spurs for Wings from The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I was surprised to see the Buster Scruggs song in here. I was really happy that it was though, because I think that's a great song. I think it's super funny, but remember earlier when I said that there's one category that I would say is more likely than Best Supporting Actor, that I think it's the one category where I'm giving the winner 100% will win, and that's Shallow. Shallow is going to win this award. A Star Is Born will probably not win anything else, but it will win this. I can guarantee it. It's won everything else. From the first trailer that used the song, people knew that song was going to win. I like all the other songs except for All the Stars. I don't like All the Stars, but seriously, it is going to be Shallow, no doubt. 100% it will be that. Alright, next up is Best Production Design, and the nominees are Black Panther, First Man, The Favorite, Mary Poppins Returns, and Roma. Now, these were all pretty predicted. Personally, I think the two big snubs here, just from my own opinion, were Isle of Dogs and Bad Times at the El Royale. Isle of Dogs, the claymation that they did on that movie was incredible. Some of the best claymation I've ever seen, and that counts as the production design. And also, Bad Times at the El Royale. The way that they built up the El Royale, that beautiful set, such a good set. It's the type of set that you'd see in an amusement park because they want to show it off even past the movie's prime. and it wasn't nominated. I didn't think that it would. This is kind of a tricky category with the same two movies as costume design. It was between Black Panther and The Favorite there. I think this one leans a little bit more towards The Favorite, though. I'd say about 60% The Favorite will win. I think about 40% Black Panther could win, and I think that The Favorite should win because the production design in that movie is great, and like the costumes, it does reflect a lot of character. I think what could upset here, very slim chance, is First Man, because I don't think First Man is going to win anything else. So I think that if they might give it to First Man, but I don't think so. I think that it will be The Favorite. All right, the next category is sound editing, and the nominees are Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, A Quiet Place, and Roma. I think what will win here and what I think should win here is A Quiet Place, because that movie is built entirely on sound, and I can understand why it wouldn't get mixing, because in case you don't know, a very simple way of explaining it, editing is how the sound is put together. Mixing is what type of sound is louder and what type of sound is quieter during it. And I can see why A Quiet Place wouldn't get mixing. It wasn't even nominated for mixing, but editing, there's no denying how good the sound editing was in that movie. I think it will win. I think it should win. I give it about 65%. I think what has the other 35% is Bohemian Rhapsody. That could win just because sound was a big integral part of that movie. I think it'll win the other sound award though. Spoiler alert, I do think that it will win the other sound award. I think First Man could upset here. There's a chance, but besides that, I don't think so. I think hopefully it will go to A Quiet Place. And the nominees for sound mixing are Black Panther, Bohemian Rhapsody, First Man, Roma, and A Star Is Born. I think it will definitely be Bohemian Rhapsody here, 80%. Like I said earlier, I think it will win, and I think it should win. The sound mixing in that movie is great. I hate everything else about that movie, but the sound mixing was good. A Star Is Born could win, but I don't think so. I think it's more like 90-10. Like, I don't think A Star Is Born will win. I think that this award will go to Bohemian Rhapsody. All right, now we're going to dig into the short film categories, and because I have seen all but 2 of the short films so far, and I will watch the other 2 before the ceremony, I can actually comment on the short films this year, and I have actually done a bit of research, and I think I know what will win, and so on and so forth. So without any further ado, here are the nominees for Best Animated Short Film. Animal Behavior, Bow, Late Afternoon, One Small Step, and Weekends. Just to start this off, I thought it was ridiculous that Animal Behavior was nominated. I thought that short was terrible. I honestly thought it was very unclever, very, very bad. I don't know why it was nominated. But I think that the winner here is very obvious. It's Bow. The Pixar shorts always win. They always win because they're the most seen. Because out of all the Academy members, they're going to be focused more on the feature-length films than the shorts. So they probably will end up voting for Bow because that was probably the only short that they saw. I don't think that should win. I thought that short was okay, but I don't think it should win. I think what should win and what could win, probably on like a 5% chance, is Weekends. That was an incredible short film. If you have not seen it, seek it out. It is probably the hardest to find out of all the short films, but Weekends was a great short film. It will not win. It could, but I doubt it. It will probably go to Bow. Next up is Best Live Action Short Film, and the nominees are Detainment, Fauve, Marguerite, Mother, and Skin. So the 2 short films I didn't get to see here were Detainment and Skin. I did not get to check those out. However, I didn't really mind because they weren't the most well-reviewed ones. The best reviewed one, and the one that I thought was the best, was Fauve. Fauve was incredible. Such a good short film. I don't think that it has a chance, though. I think what's going to win here is Marguerite, because the other 4 short films are all very, very serious and very depressing. Marguerite is not. It's very heartwarming, honestly, and I think that that will win for that reason. I think what could win is Skin, just because of the climate right now, but that didn't get great reviews, so I don't know. I think it's probably 85% Marguerite and 15% Skin. And our final category is Best Documentary Feature, and the nominees are Black Sheep, Endgame, Lifeboat, A Night at the Garden, and period, end of sentence. Out of all the ones here, and the one that I think will win, and the one that I think should win, by far is Black Sheep. That short film is available online for free on The Guardian, I believe. You just have to look it up. And wow, that is such a powerful short film. That should win by far. And I think that it will. I think that it probably will just because of the quality of it and because of how heartbreaking it is and because of the climate right now. It's just an interview with one guy and they have some film playing over it. So it's not entirely a documentary because there is the footage that they have is from actors, but the interview is real and the emotion from it is real. I think it will win. I'd say probably 60% chance though. I think that the 40% goes to period, end of sentence. I think that could win just because of climate right now. It's always climate. I think that it could win because of that, because the Academy Awards can get very political. An upset would be Endgame, but I don't think Endgame will get it. I think that this will go to Black Sheep. Alright, that concludes my video on the Oscars. So, what do you think? What do you think will win? What do you want to win? And should I do a video after the Oscars talking about them? Comment in the comment section below. Let me know if you want to hear what I think about the winners or what you think will win. And that concludes my video. So, I am Robert Burke, and this has been The Clever Critics. Goodbye.